What's going on, guys? Today I'm talking about the principle of order out of chaos, or ordo ad chaos, which is Latin for order from chaos or order out of chaos. Just as a principle, basically I'm going to try to explain how it's not necessarily it's not an evil principle or mode of being, but it's been hijacked, or it can be used to, in the way that everyone in the conspiracy world understands it, which is basically what this picture is demonstrating. But first, let me explain it just as a general principle. If you want to make a change, right? For example, in stories, like in old stories, a knight confronting a dragon. There's people who talk about this, like Jordan Peterson and Joseph Campbell, about going out of your comfort zone. You're going into chaos in order to grow, basically, and you're going to voluntarily confront chaos, or confront your responsibilities, or confront your own problems in yourself and in the world, to reconstitute a better order. Purposely throw yourself into uncomfortable situations in order to grow. To me, that's a basic concept that's played out in some sense. I think the knight versus the dragon thing goes deeper than that, than simply just, it's the voluntary confrontation with chaos. But that is one way to look at it. And like people will say, the dragon usually is guarding rewards, whether it's gold or a woman, which, there's a lot of ways you could take that, but the gold thing especially. So there's rewards waiting for you if you're willing to make changes, and that's the chaos part, going out there doing things you're not familiar with, and then you reestablish order and you become a better person. So just that principle itself, obviously there's nothing wrong with that. So we're going to explain how, this little diagram, you can call it Jesuit if you want. I don't know too much about, some people say the Vatican and stuff are like the top of the pyramid in the controller, like in the controller hierarchy, which, whatever, I'm not here to really talk about that right now. But see, it says agenda, centralization of power. You could say, just in general, centralization of power, but in this one it's saying under the Vatican of Rome. So that's the agenda, that's the goal. Thesis, terrorism, faked or real. So that's something to pay attention to right there, the faked or real. Just because something chaotic happens doesn't mean it's always staged. People can use genuine chaos that's actually happening to further their own agenda. Like, if there could be a real, like, event of violence happening, for example, and they could still use that to establish, let's say, gun control. Or they could fake an event of violence to further an agenda of gun control. And you could also say, even if it was real, even if the event of violence was real, you could say they almost indirectly contributed to it because of, things that they're putting out there on television, in the music, basically just like the chipping away of, people's moral fiber, basically. Which is why I do think they do that. They try to poison people's minds and hearts so they can create chaos, basically. At least that's one reason. I think there's more reasons than that. But see, it says thesis, terrorism, faked or real. Antithesis or antithesis, anti-terrorism, increasing police state, blah, blah, blah. They'll create a problem, in this example, terrorism, which, there's truth to that. You can find, I'm not going to go on a whole rant about the Middle East and proxy wars and stuff, but, like, in my opinion, what happened there wasn't mistakes. Like, we intentionally went in and destabilized regions and things like that, and it creates a power vacuum, and everyone knew this. Dick Cheney's on video talking about it. So then you create terrorism indirectly, or like I was just saying, they could, even if it is real, they could have still contributed to its creation. Like I said, with the destabilization of the region. You're almost encouraging terrorism at that point, or radicalization. But there's also actually faked events, and I think you can understand which one I'm talking about. And I feel like I can't really, go too far into that without my videos being taken down. But, that's a classic example of what this is. Let's create chaos intentionally so people freak out and ask for help, and then we can reconstitute order, which is, in this example, which is a pretty common end game, increasing police state, increasing surveillance, and they always give it double names, like double speak, like George Orwell shit, like the Freedom Agenda in the Middle East, the Patriot Act. They always name it things that like make you think it's deceptive in just the name itself, and it gets you to think that it's a good thing, and you're an asshole if you are opposing it or something. But obviously, if you look at it for more than 5 seconds and don't just take their word for it, then you realize those are just words that they're using to purposely be deceptive, in my opinion. And the point I was trying to make with the original statement was that these guys, the Masons, whoever, like I know this Ordo ab Chao thing, it's on the cover of like Albert Pike's Morals and Dogma and stuff. And I don't know a lot about Freemasonry, but the point is, and I'm not saying they're all evil necessarily, I don't know, but the point is they don't own the principle of order out of chaos. You do that all the time in your life. You do it several times. Matter of fact, if you can master that willingness to constantly change and like take on, do the things that you should do with minimal procrastination and like hesitation, then you're going to be a great person at the end of it. Like either way, you're pretty much forced to do it at some point, but if you can master it, the better off you'll be. The point is, they don't own the idea of order out of chaos. I'm just trying to explain how, first of all, it's not evil in and of itself, but also how they use it as a formula to basically, crack down on humanity, take over the world, whatever. I just did a video called Reset to Zero, like villains talking about needing to reset to things back to zero. And order out of chaos is kind of like destruction and creation, that kind of a thing. Like, and there's plenty of people in history that believed in order to create like a new mentality in the country, we had to destroy all the old ways of thinking and things like that. And that's partially true. Like, if you come to a new realization, even internally, like evilness aside, even if you come to a new realization of truth, you might have to like let go of some preconceived ideas. That's like the destruction. That's the chaos, Anyways, you guys understand that basic premise, I'm sure. The Chinese word for crisis, blah blah blah, is in Western popular culture frequently but incorrectly said to be composed of two Chinese characters signifying danger and opportunity. The second character is a component of the Chinese word for opportunity, but has multiple meanings, and in isolation means something more like change point. The mistaken etymology became a trope after it was used by John F. Kennedy in his presidential campaign speeches, and is widely repeated in business, education, politics, and the press in the United States. So whether or not the Chinese character for danger and opportunity actually looks visually similar to each other, the idea here is fundamentally, principally the same. When there's a crisis, there's an opportunity for great change. And they even call it and in isolation means something more like change point. A point of taking a new direction. So again, you could see how that's the crisis or the danger is the chaos, and then the new order is the opportunity from that chaos. And whether or not, like I just said, the characters look similar is really of no consequence here. Just the idea, it's just like a philosophy and a mantra. You even heard, I posted a video, Rahm Emanuel, I think he's like a governor of New York or something, he said, never let a good opportunity, or never let a good crisis go to waste. And he's saying that, when things are tough, there's an opportunity for great change, which you can take that nicely, or you can take it you know, like in an evil way, because these people sometimes, real or faked, use chaos or crisis to scare the population into submission. You know what I mean? Or to get you to accept things that you would normally not accept because you're afraid, or you're worried, or you have anxiety, or like whatever it is. Whatever you're feeling in that state of chaos, basically. It's called problem, reaction, solution. That's how David Icke describes it. Which, whatever you think of him, whatever. A conspiracy theory postulated by David Icke in which government or another higher power manipulates the population by introducing a problem, then using their own means to solve that problem. Right, like I said, getting people to accept something that they normally wouldn't have accepted given, you know, prior to that problem's existence. And, you know, it's just another way of thinking about it without all the Latin and the order and the chaos, problem, reaction, solution. It's the same idea. Although I agree, I guess this wording of it ties more into the manipulation aspect I'm trying to describe of the order of chaos thing, rather than its organic original meaning, which is just a part of being like human, part of just living life. The fact that you're going to have bouts of chaos and bouts of order sprinkled out through your life, basically, unless you just hide forever, you know, and that's not a good solution. Heroes fighting dragons and stuff, and that being in some sense not only this but partially this, symbolic of the voluntary confrontation with chaos, with our internal problems, our external problems, whatever, and conquering them and reconstituting a new, better order. And, you know, there's this one god from I think Mesopotamia. It's a really old one called Tiamat. It's a dragon. And, you know, I did a video on dragon symbolism, and a lot of times, weirdly enough, you'll see dragons symbolic of, like, tyrannical order. But in this case, the dragon's symbolic of chaos itself. Like, if you look up Tiamat, most of the things you're going to see are relating it to chaos, equating it to, like, a personification of chaos itself. Interestingly enough, the guy that fights him, the knight in this situation, his name is Anu. Sometimes, I'll tell you this, just because there's a myth with a hero in it, and the story's portraying him like a hero, he's not always a good guy. I'll just put it like that. And like I was saying, I'm not saying Anu created Tiamat, you know, in order to, like, pose as a hero or to, like, establish something for himself or something like that. But the reason I think Anu might not be this great guy that, you know, he's just conquering the dragon, he's the hero of the story, is because I don't know a lot about that guy. I should have done more research before this, but Anu, like, some people will say it's not a new world order, it's Anu world order, right? Or Anunnaki, which I'm not like an alien guy or whatever, but I don't know which is why I can't really speak too clearly on this, but the Anunnaki, I don't know what niche they fill, like they occupied in like the worldview of someone who's looking at it through like the lens of like aliens or whatever. You know, usually you can almost interchange like words like demons and aliens out. Like there's probably, I don't know, again, I'm not a UFO guy at all, just there might be good aliens and bad aliens, and I don't know what role the Anunnaki played, but it's just weird how his name is like a prefix for that word, and there's probably something to that. I would bet that there's something to that. That's just a little side note. And the Anu world order, I think there is something to that as well. Lastly, I think this is the last picture I have. I don't have too many visuals for this video. We're talking about order from chaos, right? And the hero confronting the dragon, things like that. So, this video, this is from a video. It's just one little screenshot. This is, I forget his name, this certain member of the clergy of this religion talking to Netanyahu. I'll let you figure that out. I feel like I can't even say certain words, even though I'm not trying to be hateful. But, you know, you guys can figure it out. He's saying, what hasn't changed, however, is that the Moshiach still hasn't come. The Messiah hasn't come. The hero hasn't come. So, if you know anything about heroes, they emerge in times of peril and crisis. Otherwise, they wouldn't even be dubbed a hero, because they wouldn't have done some great feat. If everything was just peaceful all the time, there would probably be no need for a hero, right? So in these religions, not just this one, but like Christianity even, and a lot of times, you know, there's, and I'm not even, I like Christianity, okay? I like the Bible, but there's a cooperation sometimes politically and in, like behind the scenes between like radical Christians and radical these guys, and you know, like I said, there needs to be a state of chaos. There's certain conditions that need to be met for the Messiah to arrive. And if you even go to the Bible, it's like the second coming of Jesus, he doesn't come back during like when humanity's got it all together. You know what I'm saying? He's coming back when, you know, the devil is basically taken over, and it's time for the hero to emerge. So the point is that in it, like I'm trying to relate that to the original statement. The idea of the hero arriving in times of chaos to remedy the problem and save everybody isn't a bad thing. It actually makes sense that humans came up with that concept in their minds since forever ago. It's actually really beautiful in a lot of ways. But people like this, okay, bad times happen whether you create them purposely or not. So that's why the hero's a cool concept. But what I'm trying to tell you is, if you intentionally create strife and problems so the Messiah can arrive, which is kind of what these people are doing, in a way, same with some Christians, like they intentionally create chaos in the region because there's certain conditions according to their books that need to be met before the Messiah can come. So they're forcing it, and that's crazy. That's weird. And that's the hijacking of the order of chaos thing I'm trying to demonstrate, but through the lens of like the arrival of a Messiah. I hope that makes sense to you. You know, this video is very easy to find if you want. This isn't all he says, but it's just, again, he's trying to tell him like, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, get the Messiah to come. Well, certain things, according to, I'm not an expert on their books, but like certain things have to happen before the Messiah can come. And it's usually, the world's usually not in like a great state probably when that happens. So that means we have to intentionally create, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like that means we have to intentionally create problems in order for the hero to emerge. I hope that makes sense. And to me that relates right back to what I was saying initially. So quick, the summary is, they don't, bad guys or whoever, whatever group you want to blame, don't own the idea or the principle or the aspect of life of creating order from chaos. It's not it's not on face value evil, but I do believe it is used as a tool because they understand it as like a component to like reality creation and life. So they understand that, so they're using it as a tool to get what they want, whatever that is. So hope that makes sense, guys. Thanks for watching.